الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين. To proceed, as we're sitting here in this masjid, Masjid Tawfiq, I wanted to comment and highlight on an audio by the brother Muhammad Muneer, or who's referred as Mufti Muneer. We ask Allah Ta'ala to grant us all success to that which is correct of words and statements and actions. He mentioned an audio which was his defense of the arguments of the brother Rayhaanah, Abdul Hakeem, towards him. And when I listened to the audio, I was quite disappointed, indeed, to see the method and the approach that Muhammad Muneer took in replying to the arguments by the brother Abdul Hakeem. And I'm going to highlight some of the things that a person may find very surprising coming from a student of knowledge, especially a person that is a graduate of the University of Medina and studied for a long period of time. Firstly, this audio that Abdul Hakeem mentioned of speech towards the brother Muhammad Muneer was a speech that was around May 16th of this year. And here we are at the end of the month of June, and it's come a video attributed to Muhammad Muneer with his presence and his display on it, and replying to this audio of Abdul Hakeem Amriki. So Allah knows best when he put out this recording, but what we see, what was published and that came to our attention, was from last night. So as he mentioned, Muhammad Muneer, that this is an advice for those who listen to the audio of Abdul Hakeem Amriki. The audio was made May 16th, and now it's an advice that's published at this time. Allah knows best if he wanted to bring it out before. So this brings question to mind about this affair. The next affair is that if a person really listens to the audio, he'll see that Muhammad Muneer's approach became approach from becoming a knowledge-based refutation about Radd al-Ilmi to becoming something personal and emotional, which is unfortunate. And like you'll find, in other words, if this person dealt with me wrong, I'm going to deal with him wrong. And this is where they were led to. Forgetting the statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, idfa' billati hi ahsan. Retaliate in the best of manner. You're going to see, like in the whole lecture that Abdul Hakeem gave, which Muhammad Muneer, he said, was regarding provision and acts of worship. He said he listened all the way to the 61-minute span. And he said he's going to clarify his blunders and his errors from that lecture. So you find that he brings out a genuine error that no one is infallible from, which is a slip of the tongue. A whole lecture of Abdul Hakeem Amriki, he comes and he selects and he starts with his whole talk on something that was so-called a blunder that needs to be clarified to the people and so severe, which is an obvious slip of the tongue, which could have been maybe mentioned at the last point if he really wanted to clarify it, but to start his clarification of the blunders with a slip of a tongue. This is very sad to see that he was used this affair as a approach in his refutation, beginning with it. And you're going to see that the brother Muhammad Muneer, he gets really personal when he starts to mention that Abdul Hakeem studied for 20 years, and that 20 years somewhat became useless. Why? Because supposedly he spoke about Muhammad Muneer and so on. So this is unjust criticism, that a person would attack a person for studying 20 years and say that is all useless on the basis that he criticized you in a wrong way or some clarification that you assumed wrong, or even this audio. What happened to all those books that Abdul Hakeem memorized in those 20 years? What happened to all those weekly lectures that he's been doing for years? All of that has become useless. And this is what I'm going to clarify more, where he says that Abdul Hakeem said in his lecture, and this is the sad part, a whole lecture, he comes and he picks out the slip of a tongue. He said, Abdul Hakeem said, Ramadan subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then even, we're going to play the audio where he admits that this is a slip of a tongue.
So, what did he mean by this statement that Ramadan subhanahu wa ta'ala is upon us? I believe in my heart, I honestly believe that he made a mistake. And that's not what he actually meant to say. And he got confused or tongue twisted or whatever the case may be happened.
So this is obvious. He admitted it, that he knows from inside that this is a slip of the tongue. And we all have slips of the tongues. And if Muhammad Muneer wants to challenge us to bring out from his lectures slips of the tongues that was left unnoticed, we can do that as well. He's a human being. He's open for slips of the tongues, each one of us. To bring this into the field and the realm of refutations, I'm going to get back at your refutation, your argument, by looking for a slip of the tongue and just try to embarrass you by it. And then he says after that,
the strange thing to me is, how does a person of knowledge and skill and experience of learning and teaching even make a mistake like that? How do you even say Ramadan subhanahu wa ta'ala, the sublime and the most high?
Here, it's a well-known saying that's been said, الغريق يتشبث بأي شيء ولو بتحلب. That the one drowning in his errors will grab on anything, even if it may be seaweed, just to come back. So this is what he's coming back with, a slip of the tongue, and then he bases his criticism upon that. This affair, if you look at it, he admitted that was sabqul lisan. And then when he moves on, he does tahamul, more recklessness, and bearing his statement toward the context of his speech more than it can bear. That Abdul Hakeem intends that it's from the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or it's a major aqeedah mistake, as he said. While we know that this is a statement, and this is a wording that some scholars have uttered. When he's mentioned the names of Allah, he says, from it, وَمِنْهَا Ramadan. And the Sharh al-Asma al-Husna, and his explanation, he says, from it, the names of Ramadan, and he says, جَلَّ جَلَالُهُ وَاتَّقَدَّسَتْ أَسْمَاؤُهُ. That Ramadan from it, and then he mentions, جَلَّ جَلَالُهُ. So, for those scholars that believe that it's from the Ramadan, from the names of Allah, they're going to say perhaps Jalla Jalalu, or the likes of these wordings. For them who believe that, they're not referred to as having major aqeedah mistakes. All those scholars that maybe believed, even though it may be erroneous or wrong, that Abu Huraira, that from Mawquf, from his statement, that it was from the names of Allah. So whoever sees that to be authentic and say that Abu Huraira wouldn't say this out of his own ijtihad, he had to take it from the Prophet ﷺ, they're going to base it upon that. And there's a group of scholars who said that. So we should have more adab with the khilaf, more mannerism and knowing the scholars that have preceded, and not base upon it and say that it's a major aqeedah mistake, as the brother is insinuating. So we're going to clarify another affair with, bit by bit, in the audio, inshallah. We'll try to summarize as much as possible. Because this affair, wallahi, it's not just and not fair that you belittle someone that is known for his knowledge and da'wah, all at the expense that he spoke about you. All of a sudden he's become someone that is degraded for a slip of a tongue. For a slip of the tongue, all of this to seek revenge because he spoke about you. See, when it becomes personal, this is where it gets at. So inshallah, we will allow the brother to move forward, inshallah. Next audio.
So Ramadan, Allah's name, subhanahu wa ta'ala, is approaching, is coming, it's upon us. Is that what you said? And is that what you meant? Let's interpret it to say that you have a major aqeedah issue with regards to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's names and attributes.
So this is what we're saying. So all those scholars who said that, even though it may be a qawl marjuh, it's not a strong opinion, it's a weaker opinion, but we don't say about those scholars that they had an aqeedah mistake, or a major, serious aqeedah mistake. That's what he's mentioning. All of this is just to get back at Abdul Hakeem from what's apparent. Allah knows best. Follow.
And if you notice, it's very odd. The end of the lecture has nothing to do with the beginning of the lecture. It's clearly seen that it's out of place, as if the lecture was nothing more than a smokescreen. The lecture was nothing more than a platform and a launch pad to really make his clarification and to make his bayan about Muhammad ibn Muneer.
To be honest, that's not correct. If you listen to the lecture and you pay attention to even what he plays, Muhammad Muneer plays of different clips, it's clear that in the lecture he speaks about akhlaq and ibadat and many parts. And then he mentions where he leads to his topic about the du'at in America, whoever they may be, including Muhammad Muneer. He speaks about the akhlaq of the prophets, the akhlaq of the salaf, and how they were concerning the dunya and having zuhd concerning many affairs, and preserving the da'wah, how it was, maintaining it, siyana, which led him to his topic. So it got to that which was relevant. And even if a person were to speak and it's about something general and then later on specify, what is wrong with that? That is known, that a person can speak generally and then specify. There's nothing wrong with that. You're going to notice from this clip that you can see Abdul Hakeem, the context of his speech.
The Prophet can ashad an-nas, if you're Sunni and you're a person of ilm, the Prophet is the furthest away from dunya. It's not suitable that the students of ilm are known for people who striving for money, and their main thing is trying to get money, trying to abstain. The Prophet was known as the furthest away.
Please pay close attention to his words. No, the first word he uses is that he thought I was Salafi.
Another affair that I'm going to clarify, that here you notice that the brother, he doesn't discuss some of the main matters that are at hand, like what was mentioned of why Muhammad Muneer does lectures and talks alongside people that are known for deviation and innovation. He didn't discuss that matter at hand. There's many examples. Sound Heart Conference, that maybe I believe it was the year 2017, part with Al-Maghrib, Walid al-Basyuni, one of the heads of Al-Maghrib, a well-known deviant, and even with the NJ Da'wah Conference, their 5th annual conference, you find that when there's flyers with his name on it, with pictures, with women as long as being speakers along with it, Sister Fulana, Sister so-and-so is giving a talk, and you even say, find Shadid Muhammad forwarding it in his Facebook. If he has any justification, he should respond by clarifying that. Do not sidetrack and come with these type of weak distractions. Oh, he did a slip of the tongue. Address the matter at hand. Address these affairs. Address of your speech, your vague speech about if it wasn't for black people. You won't be walking if it wasn't for black people. Or certain figures that were non-Muslims said if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be enjoying this and that. Non-Muslim figures that are black people, this is from what these people are upon. The extremists that have this obsession with black people. If you're resembling in their words, then it's upon you to clarify it and show why you're justifying these affairs. This ambiguity in his speech, he needs to address these matters towards Abdul Hakeem. And stop coming with these pathetic methods. Oh, you said a slip of a tongue, so I'm going to clarify your blunder, your error. That's not the approach. So you're going to notice in the audio that was played that sometimes you say Abdul Hakeem said, I thought. He was upon Salafiyya. Another time he says, Abdul Hakeem said, I heard. Like the words are contradiction. SubhanAllah, what is this? Is this, when we know what's intended, There's no need for us to look at these type of words and say he said one time I thought, one time he said I heard. Yes, he heard certain things which made him to think that you were Salafi. Ghalabatul dhann. Yes, he reached to a level of what something is called ghalabatul dhann. So there's nothing wrong with these type of wordings. So let's address the matter at hand. Why are you with these people of innovation, giving talks with them? Address those matters, clarify, say why, say I see it better to work with these people. Clarify to Abdul Hakeem, address these issues. When these matters are clarified, these people will not bring these arguments towards you. So clarify, why are you doing talks with these well-known innovators? Some of them don't even ascribe to Salafiyah. It's well known. People, they're further away from Salafiyah, it's clear. And you're giving talks along with them. And then you go into specific platforms that are specified for them and is well known yearly. It's not a masjid that you're giving advice. You're going to promote them. It's under their name. What is the justification? Answer the question. So we're going to play the next audio after that.
Now that which he's calling to is other than the Quran and the Sunnah upon what the righteous predecessors were upon.
So he clearly mentions that what we call to is not kitab, it's not sunnah, and it's not upon the understanding of the Salaf as-Salih. Why?
Okay, here Abdul Hakeem at the beginning of his lecture, or the beginning of his speech concerning Muhammad Muneer, he clarified that there's some du'ats, they call to the book and the sunnah, and then later on they end up deviating away from it. So his speech was in that context. End up deviating from that, and then moving away from the teachings and the understanding of the righteous predecessors. Yes, what you're doing right now is not from the teachings of the righteous predecessors to work with the people of innovations. If you can clarify, if you have a proof to show why, you can go to their specific platforms and have your name along with their name under all one title and promote each other, and to have your name along with a sister's name who comes and show her face beside your face on the same picture of a flyer and then is promoted by your companion. Is all of that from the understanding of the Salaf as-Salih? If it is, then clarify to us. Before it.
And ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide him to that which is correct. This is my position towards him.
That's his position. That's what you spent 20 years in Yemen for, to come back and tell the people what your position is. The same useless jargon, the same useless nonsense that the other people of extremism and blind following throw down at people's throats. No tangible benefit. It doesn't help them in their deen. It doesn't help them in their dunya. It doesn't help them in their graves. It's not going to help them when they're resurrected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
So here he says that Abdul Hakeem spent 20 years for something useless. As we mentioned, this is transgression, ta'addi. Abdul Hakeem will memorize a number of books. Abdul Hakeem wrote a number of books in Arabic, taught for a long period of his lifespan, meaning when he's been seeking knowledge, and as well lecturing every week. All of that, he spent 20 years useless, just because this issue that, suppose he wronged you in his speech. All of that 20 years becomes useless because he spoke about you, about this clarification was wrong. See the transgression? الظلم ظلمات يوم القيامة. Oppression is darkness on the day of resurrection. And then he says, what is this speech of making clarification of people who a person deems to be an innovator or away from Salafiyah or on deviation? What is it going to benefit the people in their religion and their dunya and their grave and on the day of judgment? It's going to benefit them a lot. For verily, they're following the warning of the Prophet ﷺ of the people of desires. إذا رأيت الذين يتبعون ما تشابه من فاحذروهم. If you see those following that which is not so clear, meaning following doubts, desires, then be aware of them. So this is from the command. The Prophet ﷺ warned from some of the groups of the people of innovation and hadith, like such as the Khawarij, how they said Khilabun Nar, they're the people, the dogs of the hellfire. So warning from these and knowing them, this is one of the fundamentals. This is upon a da'i to do tamayyuz, clarify, be distinguished in his call. So him to clarify that he's different from this da'i, This is an important factor as a da'i. It's not something that you refer as useless, that a person wastes his number of years for. This is essential, and there's a reason why there's lacking a lot of clarity in your ranks, because you're not clarifying on these affairs.
And really, the enmity that he shows towards the people of Yemen, towards the Ahl al-Ilm from Yemen, and his boycotting people just because they're from the Mad, and this is not the way from the Salaf. And the people that are constantly asking me about this, let it be known that this is my position towards.
So here Mufti Muneer, he plays another audio of the second individual that Abdul Hakeem spoke about, a brother in Atlanta, that he clarified his position towards him. He clarified that this person, that before he knew of him, and I'm going to use the word knew, because Abdul Hakim's speech was concerning this individual and his masjid. And then Mufti Muneer tries to say Abdul Hakim is playing with words. One time he says thoughts, one time he says he heard, one time he says he knew. No, here it's about this brother. Look at how he plays around with these words in this affair. Abdul Hakim is speaking about this brother, Khalifa, who is residing in Atlanta, him and his masjid. So he's known to have this staunch approach with anyone that comes from Yemen, or specifically the Maj, boycotting them. And this is what Abdul Hakim is mentioning here, that it's not from the way of the Salaf, meaning a group of people, if they're known from Salafiyah, for you to come and boycott them, and to cut them off, and to warn from them, and to divide from whoever used to be with them, this is not from Salafiyah, with no doubt. The Salaf used to call to unity. The Salaf used to Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, the preserving the ranks and avoiding differing. Because verily Ahl Bid'ah, they're known for furqa, division. So for you to come and boycott and cause enmity and all this fitna, especially a brother that's known from Atlanta, he comes back to his town, all of a sudden he's boycotted because he came from the Maj, without even knowing specifically what he may have said, what his point of view. This is what we're talking about. This is not from Salafiyah, no doubt. To be restricted in your allegiance and your disallegiance.
So therefore, Salafiyya, according to Abdul Hakim, is to love the people of Yemen and to show love and allegiance and loyalty to the scholars from the Maj. And that's the way of the Salaf. They said the Salaf weren't upon. Who were the Salaf weren't upon? The Salaf were upon the way of the Maj. Was the Maj in the time of the Salaf?
Okay, here, it's quite obvious, the context of Abdul Hakim's speech, that to come and a markaz that was praised by a number of scholars. It was treading the path of its founder, Sheikh Muqbil. For you to come and warn and label them to be innovators or extremists or all of that with no proofs, and then to attack anyone that defends them, whether they be in Egypt, whether they be in Saudi, anyone, even certain mashayikh that don't have a certain stance that what they agree with, he's also boycotted. Is this from Salafiyah, brothers? Is this from Salafiyah? It's obvious that what Abdul Hakim is saying, that this in particular, it's not from Salafiyah. And it's well known. Everybody's known that this is getting personal. Muhammad Muneer, that he's trying to deceive the audience, that Abdul Hakim is trying to say the Maj as if it was found in the time of the Salaf. And no one's going to understand that. So this is tahamul. This is exaggeration in his speech and recklessness found by the brother Muhammad Muneer.
But do we need to quote Sheikh Yahya al-Hajuri and what is attributed to him of him speaking about people, scholars, and showing enmity to...
Clarify that you agree with all those people that say that Sheikh Yahya is so-called showing enmity to the scholars, just beginning them all of a sudden with speech, randomly, just one by one, without any purpose. And in reality, if you look, Sheikh Yahya, he says, Hatli wahidan bada'tu. Give me one person that I began him with speech, from these people who they're referring to, that he's showing enmity towards. All of these people, from these mashayikh who came, and that, they are those who began. They attacked, they warned, they labeled him someone that is an innovator, took him out of the fold of Salafiyya, called his students, thousands of them fools. Here, if he comes back and retaliates and shows that they are in the wrong, he's called the one that's showing the enmity towards the people. He's done wrong for some reason. So this is the talbis, the deception. What he's relaying back to about this brother in Atlanta, he doesn't even know the guy, he said. And he's commenting about it. That's the sad part. He wants to speak about a situation in Atlanta that Abdul Hakeem is talking about, and he doesn't even know about it. Understand the situation. These people automatically, if you're from Dammaj, they cut you off. While you find that the opposite from the brothers of Dammaj, there's people that may not have the same opinion, but they're there teaching, doing da'wah, the likes of that. So it shows you the difference between the two groups.
Why you shouldn't study in Saudi, because knowledge in Saudi is weak. There's no real knowledge in Saudi. The true knowledge is in Dammaj. Dammaj is the only place in the world which the pure Sunnah is learned and practiced and taught. Is that not Hizbiyah? Is that not party partisanship? Is that not putrid Jahiliyyah?
Here, he comes and he tries to bring some unknown characters that he narrates from to strengthen his argument against Abdul Hakeem. Some unknown narrators, he doesn't even mention their names, and he uses them against a dar that's well known for people that to come from all over, and people that are benefiting from a number of mashayikh wherever they may be. And that's why you find even the mashayikh of the dar, some of them sitting from Dammaj, sitting in the halaqat of Sheikh Muhammad Adam al-Ethiopi, Sheikh Abdul Abbad. That's why you find them visiting these mashayikh. That's why even when some of the students, when they go to the University of Medina, they're told just be aware of the hizbis they're in, for verily is filled with it. For you to come and to say that that the students of Dammaj say that it's haram to study, or to whoever you're quoting from, to say that they're saying that it's 100% hizbiyya, or it's haram to study that. That's not the statements of the mashayikh of Dammaj. And you need to check your sources. And firstly, sammu lana rijalakum. Who are these people that you're quoting from? Name them. And are they like official spokesperson for Dammaj that you center and to label the majority of the people like that? The people would travel to Sheikh Ahmad Najmi before he passed away, and get taqdeemat and benefit from him, introductions, prefaces. It's well known that people up until now, they benefit from a number of mashayikh. Where is this that you can't take from except from the purest place that they so-called say that we're saying Dammaj is the purest place and Saudi this? No. They're just certain praises from mashayikh that emphasizes how Dammaj was in seeking knowledge. So it's not the blame of Dammaj. There's a group of scholars from outside of Dammaj who emphasize, such Sheikh Muhammad Abdul al-Banna, rahimahullah. He said it's from the best of places to seek knowledge. So if someone were to clarify you and say that statement, he's not referred to as an extremist or a partisanship, hizbi, and this affair.
With the authentic chains of narrations that we're not going to mention right now. We're not going to mention the names of those people for certain reasons, which we could, that prove that he said these statements because he was forcing expression. He was forcing expression, was ran down upon. You praise Muhammad ibn Muneer, the one that called Mufti, the one that some people know as Mufti. You praised him. You went to his masjid. You told people to benefit from him.
Here, he says that through authentic narrations. And once again, he doesn't mention their names. He doesn't mention these names of these people. He said, I could mention them, but I wouldn't. Okay, what does that benefit us? And where's that in science of hadith? So this is very important that a person, sammu lana rijalakum, name your men. And then secondly, we know that the brother Abdul Hakeem, he wasn't pressured. It just, ظهر له, it became clear to him, words of yours. It was sent to him, your statement. I believe it was from this year, if I'm correct. His statement about Abul Hasan Ma'ribi, and inshallah, we'll play that audio where Abdul Hakeem, he heard your statement, and he's seen others. And him going to Yemen, where a place where there's a number of students of knowledge and scholars. There's no strangeness of something becoming clear to him that he was in America since he was traveling. And you yourself mentioned that he was on the verge of traveling back.
He will always envy me. I wasn't a deviant back then, but there was always tension because I was so young. And the brothers that would shake my hand, we would sit, drink tea together, and people would talk about me behind my back. So the point is that in 2002, and I'm going to leave you with this, I was sitting in the Prophet's Masjid with Sheikh Abdul al-Abad. And they asked him a question, and perhaps the name of the person most of us can't even pronounce. They said, yeah, Sheikh Abdul al-Abad is the grandfather of Medina. He's the teacher of all of the scholars of Medina. Sheikh Rabi' himself studied with him for 2 years. They asked Sheikh Abdul Muhsin, this is 2002 now. Yeah, Sheikh, what about the tabdir of Abu Hassan al-Halabi, Abu Hassan al-Ma'rabi, so on and so forth. The Sheikh didn't say Sheikh Rabi' is right, Sheikh Rabi' is this, Sheikh Rabi' is a great, he didn't say any of that. He says all of these issues are based off of, he says, ahwaf al-nufus. He says, now, you're shaking your head and saying, nah, now. In 2002? I wasn't.
I wouldn't have agreed with that.
I didn't disrespect the Sheikh. I'm like, hey, how you gonna say that, Sheikh? That is all personal. That is all personal. 15 years later, only Allah knows what became clear, what became manifest. Their brothers in the crowd, if you can ask, I saw the gradual development, and those words were clear as day. And the same thing has happened and is happening in America. The only reason why you were looking for the mistakes of Shadid, if he did make a mistake, maybe he did make a mistake, maybe. The only reason why you were looking for them is because you're jealous. The only reason why you're looking to find what Abu Usama said is because you're insecure and inferior. You're afraid Abu Usama is better than you and he's going to take your power and your authority. And then comes the game, so on and so forth. So this is in brief. This is not everything. The most important thing that I want to give you guys is just look at what happened. Abu Usama mentioned about the scholars from Jordan. Abu Usama, Ali Halabi, Musa Nasser, Hussein Awaisha, Usama Khusi from Egypt, QSS, they came to America, came to Canada. What happened to those scholars? They became deviants. But our Phillips, this one, that one, burn his books, get rid of his tapes. You accepted Islam, you made tarbiyah, you grew your beard, you put on hijab, you left kufr, you left shirk, you came to the deen, now give rid of all of his books. And then another scholar comes, he's a deviant now. And then this one comes from Bahrain, and this one, and this one, and that one. How long are you going to be stupid? How long are you going to see that it's a big game and it's a big joke? And you're the victim of it. You're on the shortest end of the stick. You can't make that consistent upon someone teaching you, benefiting your soul, and then burn all of his books. So you're held accountable as well. That's in brief. Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar. Takbir. MashaAllah.
So you can hear, like this speech in particular, a big Hakeem afterwards, after praising you and visiting your masjid, it became clear to him your speech about Abu Hassan al-Ma'ribi, that you said after 15 years from 2002, it became clear to you that the so-called issue with Abu Hassan al-Ma'ribi was just personal. Abu Hassan al-Ma'ribi, for those who don't know him, his current condition, he's a member of two Hizb. One in Egypt, Hizb al-Nur, another one in Yemen. He had a role, and also, as some said, regarding the revolution in Egypt with some of his words. This man is a deviant that has been spoken by majority of the scholars in many of the countries. He's a man that says Ikhwan al-Muslimin are from Ahl Sunnah. He's a man that he said he debated with Sheikh Muqbil on not making excuses of why he did not make excuses for Ikhwan Muslimin. He's a man that was trying to defend Yusuf Qardawi from certain labels that Sheikh Muqbil gave him. And we know the condition of Yusuf Qardawi. Abu Hassan Ma'ribi, right now he's not busy with knowledge. For you to say he became clear to you now that it was just personal, it should become clear to you that he's even more deviant. His condition worsened from that time. He's someone that is, as Sheikh Sulaiman Rahili mentioned, I have not seen someone more greater of establishing innovations of principles of the people of Bid'ah in this era like Abu Hassan Ma'ribi. So this man, for you to come out and speak about him like this in the West, and to mention that this is deception. So this is a speech, it's not a speech of someone that is upon Salafiyah. Why would you mention this to the people concerning Abu Hassan Ma'ribi? It's clear Abu Hassan Ma'ribi, he himself tells you, I'm a part of a Hizb. What more do you want? And he's telling you, I'm part of this hizb, I'm part of this political group, I'm with this, all under the name of let's unite the Ikhwan Muslimin and unite this and aid this. This is not from Salafiyah. So all of this, what he's saying, that maybe people, previous speech about certain deviants, people are supposedly being displayed as stupid because someone deviates, they throw away their books. This is part of Salafiyah. If someone deviates, la karama, there's no honor. The karama, the nobility, is for those who held to the sunnah. So if someone deviates and is known from his books, certain verdicts that lead to takfir or khuruj, yes, you throw away his books. Why would you benefit from someone that calls to khuruj, takfir? It's not stupidity as you claim. So this is the sad affair, and inshallah, we end with this as a short advice. We ask Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala to allow this to be a means, a reminder for myself and from the brother to realize that he needs to address these matters at hand that was addressed. If he has a justification, he should clarify it without coming and saying, you made a slip of the tongue, you made this. All of this is not needed. And even you're going to find within the audio, at a time where Abdul Hakeem, he mentioned that if people are harsh towards you, or people that have wronged you in some matters, that should not be a reason for you to recant. So here Muhammad Muneer comes and says, why would someone recant if he's been wronged? It's clear in the context of the speech. Abdul Hakeem says, from a mistake, even if they wronged you in other affairs. If I wronged you in another matter, it shouldn't be a reason for you to recant in something I clarified to you. The truth is greater than all of us. Why try to come and take his speech out of proportion? This is oppression, to see that all of this has become something personal for him and emotional, just to defend the fact that his name was mentioned. Address these affairs that was brought up from the criticism of Abdul Hakeem. If you have a justification, then bring it out with a knowledge-based response. أقول ما تسمعون والله أعلم وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد.